What's going on, guys? We're back with some casual talk about some randomness that usually involves video games. But at the end of this video, for a few minutes, I will be setting aside talking about something serious that involves video games, but also involves, some stuff. But anyways, we'll get into the light stuff right now, and then we'll get into the deep stuff later, because we know we like talking about that stuff. We like that deep talk. That's too dirty for YouTube right there. Bad. What is going on? Anyways, we got some news with Rocket League right now. So Rocket League, I said this in a previous video before. Rocket League gets signed with another company. I don't remember off the top of my head right now. They had signed with a big deal with another company where they basically are taking over the controllings of what's happening with Rocket League. And a lot of people knew that there was going to be a lot of big changes coming to Rocket League. Now this involves Xbox, PS4, computer, anything that you can play Rocket League on. So basically what they're doing is they're eradicating that's a good word, right? Eradicating. They're taking away keys, paid keys and paid crates. Essentially what they're going to do with one of the updates is they're going to make it so every crate, if you have crates in your inventory, the crates are going to be completely visible, so you'll know exactly what item you're getting out of them. I don't know if they're going to just give everybody the crates like outright, like they're going to be like, here, just you can have whatever item was going to come in this crate. Okay, so first of all, I always thought that it had a random chance, and I think that it still does, but I don't think there was as deep of an algorithm to opening the crates as everybody thought. I think that if the items weren't randomized, and if you got a crate, the item was immediately known, and we didn't know about that, then that's sort of messed up if you think about it. Because I always personally thought that it would be some random generator that you would open it and you would get something randomly, like whatever the crate contains, there's a random chance to get anything. But apparently that is not the case at all. It's when you get a crate, you get an item, and it has that specific item, no matter if you gave it to somebody, if you opened it yourself, if you let it sit there forever, it would always contain the same item, no matter what sort of system you wanted to apply to it. Anyways, this is good and bad for the game. I think that paid keys and paid crates were a good thing in some ways, because it kept a currency going. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I do run an 11K. It has 11K members in it, Rocket League trading group, and I run it with a couple buddies of mine. They help out. We also do middleman trading, which is basically it's just to prevent people from getting scammed from doing trades, because sometimes these things in Rocket League go for hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and the keys, they cost money, and people are trading keys to each other, and they're trading inventories. So basically, the guys that do this middleman stuff, we're just overseeing that. Now, that's where it kind of gets bad a little bit, because you're taking away from people who are really trying to help. I don't know how it's going to work afterwards in terms of the scamming. I know that there's still going to be trading, but I don't know how you're going to value anything in the game if you don't have the same currency. Like, you're not going to be able to trade your titanium white Apex wheels that are worth 400 keys, which is $300 or something like that, or 350. I don't know how you're going to value that after they diminish keys entirely, or possibly they're going to come up with something completely new of their own. Who knows at this point? There's not much said on it. We just know that we're losing the crates and we're losing the keys, and every crate will just have a predetermined item that was happening in it. That will be available with whatever keys and crates are left. Grandia 2. Okay, not Grandia 2 at all. Grandia HD Collection. So check this out. When I was a kid, I've been playing RPGs, like role-playing games, since I was a little kid. I've loved RPGs my whole life, and I will always love them, and I will always continue to go back to them and play these games, and I love them. I absolutely love them. I love them. I can't explain that enough, okay? So Grandia was this great RPG for the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2. I think it even had a PS3 game. I think it was Grandia Extreme. They also had versions on Sega Saturn, I believe, or Dreamcast. I forget which system it was specifically, but I don't think it was ever released for Xbox or Nintendo, which is weird about this next part, because Nintendo Switch announced that Grandia HD Collection is coming to Nintendo Switch. That makes me want to buy a Nintendo just for that, because I loved those games. And if they're coming back in HD, man, I want to play that shit. I want to play that shit hard, because that's crazy. I love when systems bring back remastered or HD remakes of these old games. There's lots of games that I would love to see get remakes. Grandia was definitely one of them. Legend of Dragoon, some of the Final Fantasy games, some of the there's a bunch of other Legend games that I would love to see remakes, like Legend of Legaia, Legend of Legaia 2, or Legaia 2. I forget exactly what they called it. There's a bunch of old Tales games that I would love to see get remastered. So it's sort of with a heavy heart hearing that it's only coming to the Switch, but that's the way she goes sometimes, right? That's life. That's the nod to that's life this time. Also, what's crazy, so we got a couple crazy things going on. So the Google Stadia system is going to be officially revealed on August 19th. There's going to be a live stream on August 19th, so if you are very interested in hearing about the Google system and everything that's happening with it, there will be a live stream on August 19th for the official reveal of the system. And it's something that everybody who plays on a system should probably check out, because there's a good chance that Google will destroy every other gaming system in terms of capabilities, flexibilities, gaming, like prerequisites. There's like Google will probably dominate, because Google is one of the most powerful companies on earth right now. So it's definitely something to check out. It's definitely interesting, and it's something that I'm personally looking forward to. Now, let's get into this crazy stuff. So before I get into this, I want to say that I am not going to say that I have any support for... I'm going to reword this. I'm not saying that I support Trump or that I support Hillary or any opposing party. I'm not saying that I'm pro-conservative or I'm pro-liberal. To me personally, I know that my friends know me, and I would say that I do lean a little bit more liberal, but we're not getting into my personal ideologies, okay? I'm saying that there's conservatives and there's liberals and there's bullshit on both sides. All of the time, there's bullshit on both sides. And the media, and there's the internet, and there's people saying this and there's people saying that. So there's bullshit on both sides. And then somewhere in the middle, there's the truth, okay? And it's tough in this life, especially now with the information highway that we have and the way that people control things and these companies control things, to not believe that everybody is against us in terms of the government, the police. It's hard not to believe that. It's also hard to believe that we can't trust those people, because realistically, those are the people we're forced to trust. It's sort of like a parent. When you think of the government, it's almost like looking at your parent and being like, well, you need to take care of me. This is your responsibility. And they're like, well, no, you need to take care of yourself. So when you take care of yourself, you shouldn't have to take on those responsibilities that the government is issuing. And I'm talking about something like welfare, disability. A lot of people have a lot of issues in a lot of these areas. But the one area we're looking at right now is gun control. Trump issued a statement saying that gun violence and these mass shootings are attributed to video games. I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe they are attributed to how violent video games can be, but there's no way to really look at history and be able to see it. I don't think that it would be any different. Like if you look at, say, the Wild Wild West. If you look at the Wild Wild West back in the United States, before everything was, dreams and riches and there was buildings and skyscrapers and cars, you look at it, there were shootings all of the time. So did that normalize those shootings happening because that was a way to live? Or did it make it not the norm because you didn't really want to live in that aspect? A lot of people back then, everybody carried a gun. It didn't matter what was going on or how the going abouts was. And I'm not even that well versed in knowing all of the information going back and looking at it. I'm just saying that if that was normalized back then maybe that is a reason why guns are the way that they are now. That people are looking at guns, or video games rather, and the violence in them, that's the reason why kids or people are doing this. Personally, I think that you have to look at the statistics of it all. Now, statistics can even be pushed as bullshit because you look at it, it's like Japan, for instance. I think Japan is the hub of the world, the capital of the world in terms of video game playing, video gamers per capita. I mean, like, it doesn't compared to like the United States, because the United States has 300 million people. But I think if you look at how many people in Japan play video games, and it being like say 90% of them, and then you look at the States being like 40%, then obviously the number per capita is Japan, but the number is much larger in America. So you have to take that obviously with some sort of grain of salt, because you can't please everybody, and everybody's not doing it. But on one side everybody is, on one side everybody's not. So you look at America, and they don't play as much video games as Japan, but Japan doesn't have half as many mass shootings as America does. I think a friend of mine made a point about that on Facebook, that if you look at it statistically hand in hand, that video games don't have, that you can't really make that connection. I'm not trying to say that the connection belongs to Trump either. I don't really know. I don't know all the information, and I wish that I did, and I wish I had the solution, and I wish that I knew, because I would love to be able to just spill my brain and be able to tell people like, this is how you do it, stop being dumb. I don't know if it has to do with everybody having their guns taken away, because I don't think that's the case. I think it's far too gone of an issue. But I also don't know if it's about giving everybody a gun, because then, who do you trust? Because the truth is that people, you really never know what a person is thinking. Only the person living that life knows what they're thinking. And I feel like when you look at it, sometimes the best people in this world, these people who you could trust 100%, are the last people to run into a burning building to save you. And then on the flip side, you could have a person who's absolutely horrible, and they might be the first person to run into that building and save you. Life is weird, and people are weird, and this life is crazy, and I think that trying to narrow down the reasons why people do things is just stupid. I think that's the best way of putting it, is that we're stupid. All of us are stupid. We don't know enough, and we think that we do know enough, but we don't, and we never will, and we'll never know the reasons why things happen. They just do. They just kind of do, and you have to just kind of survive in this world. And I'm still learning that myself, because I drive myself crazy sometimes. My brain works like a locomotive, and it just keeps going and going and going, and it's like I'm not planning on doing anything crazy, and I'm not saying that I planned on doing anything crazy. I'm just saying that you can't really ever understand even yourself sometimes, because we talk ourselves in and out of situations. Sometimes we think we're doing good when we're doing bad. Sometimes we're doing bad and we find out that we're doing great. I think that it's just about trucking through and putting up with your brain and try to tell yourself like, hey, maybe I need to talk this out with somebody, or hey, I would like to understand why I feel this way more, because life is crazy like that. You got to work on so many things to take care of yourself. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. You got to diet right. You got to get enough sunlight. You got to not get enough sunlight, because you can get cancer from sunlight. It's crazy shit when you think about it. The whole life itself is crazy. But all that matters is that you keep on trucking, and you keep looking forward, and you keep learning and adapting, and we keep trying to get through these problems, these mass shootings, these murders, the homeless people, everything. We need to just keep trucking through life, and eventually the solutions will come to us. And it's all about trying things. It's all about just keeping on trying and fucking up. I said this in the other video, that's what it is. You just got to keep moving. Anyways, I hope I didn't offend anybody. I wasn't trying to offend anybody, and I try to keep it as neutral as absolutely possible, because that's truly how I feel. Is I love to be right in the middle of everything, and when people present me with the information needed, then that's perfect, because that's the way I want to be. I want to be able to look at it with a critical eye and understand it, and be able to, because I'm not smart by any means. I'm not a smart guy, and I want to be smarter constantly, and I know that I will never know everything, and that makes it so that my cup is empty and I can fill it up. Anyways, thanks everyone for watching. I hope there were some words of wisdom there. I hope that people enjoyed the video. I hope that it gave some information and some insight on everything. And I hope that people, start to understand this more. I just clapped for myself. Anyways, thanks, and make sure you have a great one.